Okay, so do you believe that if they get their hands and they actually put together the bomb, are you saying there's a higher chance they won't use it on us or Israel than they would
What?
if they actually made the bomb? Let's say they have the capability. Are you suggesting that you don't think that they would actually use it, or would they use it? What's up, man? I'm here to debate, Tom.
What's up?
I think that America has to get involved, dude. It's necessary. I believe it to be. I think that we have substantial evidence that they obviously are.
Grab your ass in M4 and get over there.
Well, my brothers and sisters in the arms.
What are you doing here still? What are you doing here still? Go become a sleeper cell.
Dude, listen, man. You know that obviously we can both agree Iran wants America gone. Okay? I mean, you obviously agree with that. So there's no room for us to disagree on that. Now, the problem is that obviously Iran follows, they've been following like a threshold. What would you call that? They call it like a threshold strategy for 30 years. That's the problem. So when you have Netanyahu, who's always saying for the last 30 years, they are 2 weeks away from making a nuclear weapon, what he means is they basically have everything to make the nuclear weapon, but they use a threshold strategy where they don't put it together. They keep it all in parts. And then if something happens, they put it together in less than a week and they hit Israel or United States. There's a huge problem with that. So I just don't see how we literally also have proof that they're using a threshold strategy. It's been shown to us quite like clearly. They're enriching their uranium to 20%, but even as high as
So they weren't.
Why are they enriching the uranium to the 60%, which is still under the legal number under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty? So they're getting right to that bridge, and they're stopping right there. That means that something's going on.
Okay.
There's more than that.
Richie, do you know you just named the treaty that Ukraine is under? The Budapest Memorandum is part of that treaty, but you guys cry about us getting involved with Ukraine.
What do you mean? I didn't cry about. We don't cry about that. Typically, the liberals are saying liberals are saying we should continue to fund. Republicans are saying we shouldn't give that much funding, but we should continue to at least respect the treaty. So, I mean, there's a difference here. So I'm just saying, like, Tommy, do you agree?
Right. So why? But two things. Why? First things first. Why is your ass not in Iran, or at least on the border, waiting to go in?
Okay, well, that's obviously just a ridiculous question. What does that have to do with the conversation? So you're saying your response?
Well, I was told. I mean, when Biden funded Ukraine for 4 years or for 3 years, I was told, why don't I go and fight there? And I was also told, I was told, why don't I go and fight there? So.
Okay, I mean, you're giving.
Why doesn't that apply to you?
I understand what you're saying. I mean, I'm sure people have said that to you, but I mean, that's just a dismissive, rhetorical move. I mean, like, being at the threshold doesn't mean they're going to build a nuke tomorrow. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they have the capability, but not the weapon yet. So that just means like
they haven't.
Okay, Tommy, I don't know how you not make you understand this. You have a car, okay? A car is a car, but if you have an engine, a transmission, the wheels, and the body all separate, it has the capability of being a car. It's just all in separate places. One thing.
That's cool, but why aren't you going and taking the tire from Iran so that we can't? Why don't you go in there and get us that tire?
Okay, so you want me to go in?
You better go into that fucking bunker. Yeah, I'm going to go into that bunker. Yep. Go ahead and grab those nuclear cores and run your ass out.
Okay, so a couple problems with that. One is I would probably be unalive before I even reach the bunker. Okay. Number two is
this is what you want.
Number two is I am a white Jewish man, so I would be unalive before I even set foot over the actual border. Number three is I'm also technically a part of the community, so I would probably be beheaded before I even actually got past the actual the border. So yeah.
But you want the war, right? Why don't you want the consequences?
Are you not hearing what I'm saying, dude? These people are the same people that you are trying to protect. They want to unalive all the people you want to protect.
Right, but you're not hearing what I'm saying. You're not the one that pays anything.
Okay, so what is the suggestion?
You don't stand to lose anything from this.
Okay, so do you believe that if they get their hands and they actually put together the bomb, Are you saying there's a higher chance they won't use it on us or Israel than they would?
What?
If they actually made the bomb, let's say they have the capability, are you suggesting that you don't think that they would actually use it, or would they use it?
Would Iran? I don't know if they would use it or not. Probably not.
Are you kidding,
Like
Tommy?
most people seem
It
to believe
says
that.
their religious standpoint.
Anything else would be conjecture. So is Israel.
Okay, no. Wait. People in Iran, their belief system is they are supposed to be unalive on behalf of their religion. So much so, they don't even have.
No,
That's extremism. Knock it off. or something.
no, that's jihadi extremism. That's jihadi extremism. That's actually taken out of context.
If
It is
that's the
not
case, let
applied
me ask
to
you a
the
question: is there a
wider
single
Muslim.
bomb shelter in Iran?
It would be like calling all Christians cannibals.
All right,
if
Tommy,
they wanna eat
fine.
people.
Is there a single bomb shelter in Iran? A single one?
I have no idea.
There is not. You want to know why?
I imagine there would
No,
be.
there's not a
Richie.
single one because they are called. That's
Richie.
called being chicken-hearted.
Richie.
No, that's called
Richie.
being chicken-hearted to them. They
Richie,
have not one bomb
stop. The IDF, you know what they do? They knowingly send in soldiers that they know that they're going to kaboom. It starts with a W. It comes from Hitler. They do that move. Don't act like you guys are pious over there in Israel. Who's in the last year? Who has been the aggressor? Israel or Iran?
Israel on behalf of its sovereignty.
What?
Israel on behalf of its sovereignty. Iran wants to obliterate Israel. They made it very clear. They want them off the face of the map. They will do it when they can. They've openly
And who's
they've openly said that when
Well,
they make
so-
a nuke, they will bomb Israel. They want them gone.
what Ayatollah was that? Because it wasn't the current one.
What was the question?
Be honest. What Ayatollah was that? Because it wasn't the current one.
Probably the one back from the 90s.
He was in the 90s. He took. Wait a minute. The current one is from 1989. You're talking about Khomeini, the one before him. The current one has been in that position since 1989.
Okay, wait. So
I just want to point out. So wait. When Iran talks about, just be clear. When Iran talks about wiping another country off the face of the earth, that's bad. But what about when Israel does it?
okay, wait. Let's be clear, okay?
Just for consistency purposes.
So your question.
When Israel
So
does
repeat.
it.
So you're asking me basically with Israel, and you're referring to Gaza, right? Is that what you're asking?
I'm not referring to anything yet. I just want to be clear.
Because I think that's like a fault. It's not analogous. I don't believe.
How would it not be analogous?
Because Israel, I believe, has a right and a duty to defend itself, and I believe that they are defending themselves. I mean, Hamas is law. Well, this is a whole different conversation to be had. But I mean, obviously, let's not.
Is it
Let's say
bombing refugee camps self-defense?
I don't agree with that part of it now.
How is it self-defense when they are in the country?
Okay, wait. Are we forgetting about October 7th? Obviously, I mean, Hamas
Do you know
was a
what
mass
happened?
murder of the Jews.
I literally don't want to hear another thing about October 7th from anybody supporting Israel at this point. You can say that October 7th was bad, but no. You can say October 7th was bad, and I'll agree with you. But what followed was way fucking worse.
Okay, what followed?
It would be like following up, I don't know, the fall of Troy with a genocide. They're not comparable. Don't try and make them comparable. Don't try and victimize. Well, October 7th. Because you want to get real? That was fucking BB's fault that
All right,
happened.
fine. So let's say that.
You can get real? That was BB's fault.
Okay, so time. Let's say that.
How about you put the blame where it belongs?
Okay, so
That was BB's
it's
fault.
easy to say that it was wrong from an outside perspective. Let me actually turn it on to you. Okay, would you tolerate it if 1,200 of its citizens were massacred and then they were raped, babies were burned, hostages taken by a terror group? So let me ask you a question: did Israel go over rape women, burn babies, things like that? Yes or no?
You guys, wait, hold on. Israel, yes, you guys have done.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. So give me the evidence that Israel went over. They raped the women, they burned the babies, and give me the evidence for that.
I don't know if you know what happens when you drop incendiary bombs onto tent camps, but babies burn.
Right. But what I'm saying is that the actual response by Hamas.
Oh, but they didn't. Oh, but they did it. They did it from afar. They did it from afar, so we can go ahead and ignore it. We can ignore that they lit entire places and children on fire. We can ignore
think it's
that
terrible
because they did it from a fucking plane. Because they did it from an MLRS. Because they did it from a fucking artillery tube across a fucking wall.
All right, so
Yeah.
fine. Let me give you a scenario then. Okay, let's say that Mexico was run by ISIS. Okay, and they launched thousands of rockets into Texas. Would the U.S. need to respond with overwhelming force, or what would they do?
You don't burn.
What would be the? What would be the?
Richie,
What would be the?
Richie,
I'm asking you
you
a question.
don't. Richie,
I'm
you
asking you a question,
don't
okay?
burn children. You don't kaboom hospitals.
Civilian deaths are tragic, yes, but they're
Yeah,
not proof of
whatever.
wrongdoing.
I just hope that. I
But
hope
I
that.
don't want to hear a but.
Yeah, I hope no.
No,
I
it's
hope
not
that
proof of
Netanyahu.
wrongdoing.
Be quiet, Richie. I hope Netanyahu is caught and he is brought to trial. I hope to God that he goes to prison, is locked up forever. He's an evil bastard. For you to sit
What
here,
about then Hamas?
he was. Shut up. Don't what about? What? Don't what about? Do October 6th and backwards. He's an evil bastard. He was about to be voted out, right? And then
He's about to go to
he
prison.
was about to, yeah, he was about to be like get his consequences, and then this shit popped off, which is really cool. It's like, oh, this saved his ass.
Wait, so I have a question. Is your argument that the real moral failure here, where we need to let Hamas be untouched?
No, that's a straw man. Nice try.
Okay, great.
It's
So then
cute.
the question.
And actually, it wasn't even. I'm gonna be real. It wasn't even cute. It was really
My
not
argument
really
is quite
predictable. That's a
simple.
straw man.
My argument is kind of simple.
That's not my argument.
Right.
That's not my argument. I've never made that argument. You're applying an argument that I've never made.
So where's the moral?
So that you could attack it.
Where's the moral failure then?
Morality is subjective, so I don't want to have a moral argument with you. Let's just keep it to the facts.
Okay, fine. We won't do that. What I'm saying is that the action of a civilian dying is terrible, but it isn't proof of wrongdoing.
Not inherently, but when you're bombing tent cities, I would say it is.
Well,
when you talk about the widespread of it, I would say it is.
Okay.
How many people have died now?
Wait a minute.
How many people have died there now?
I know it's terrible. What I'm saying is that tragedy doesn't automatically.
I know it's so terrible.
Wait, there's a.
There's this. Have you ever seen the movie?
Tom, let me say this.
Yeah, except the UN has already clarified that they believe war crimes have been committed, and that's that. Yeah, with the exception of 2 countries, that's the conclusion of the fucking world.
Let me ask you a question.
So, yeah, good try. But I remember this. Hold on a second. I remember this. I want to get this before I forget it. I remember this. There's this movie called Year One, and the movie is basically about like early humans or whatever. And it goes back to like sort of the hunter-gatherers, and then like Judaism is starting.
Sure.
And it goes back and it shows like the story of Cain and Abel.
Okay.
Or like, yeah. And he's like beating him over the head with this rock. He's like, oh, what have I done? Oh, what have I continued to do?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Or what was that? What have you made me do? What have you made me continue to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the same thing. What have you made me do? Oh my God, how could they make me bomb children?
Okay, so wait, let me ask you.
That's psycho shit. That's psycho shit.
me
That's
ask
like
you-
serial killer. Like, could you imagine a serial killer? Oh, how could they make me strangle them? Ah.
Okay, so question for you. I want to test your logic on this. Okay, my father, okay, he has severe PTSD. Before he ever had us, he was basically in his mom's basement after Vietnam, okay? He is a Purple Heart recipient, okay? And he has trauma, mental trauma, because the people he was fighting in the jungle, unfortunately, a lot of it was children, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. He's really fucked up because of it. He doesn't leave the house very much. Now, question for you. Is he a bad person?
Don't do what I think you're
Is
gonna
my father
do.
an evil person? Is there a moral failure there?
Don't. If he's a baby unalive, then yeah, I would say.
Okay, so my father, when he was in the jungle and there was children shooting at him, 12, 13 years old, he is actually a bad person.
Right. So again, you're setting up a false equivalency.
Wait. People are saying he committed a war crime.
Again.
Wait, he committed a war crime. What was my father?
Nemu, appreciate it. Thank you for the 500 bits. Well, he probably sounds like he did commit a war crime.
Okay. So did he commit a war crime on behalf of the government, or was it something that he did on his own with some moral failure?
It
Why are
was
you?
something he would have done on his own as a moral failure. Why are you justifying your
No, my
grandfather's
father.
war
It's my father.
crimes? I
Okay.
don't.
No, not my grandfather. My father. Okay. So, see, here, there's a difference between me and you. Is that I think that it's crazy for you to
Nemu,
say that.
appreciate it.
I
What?
think it's crazy for you to say that, like, that he was put somewhere, and then there were people that were trying to take his life, and he didn't want to do that. But in response, this happened.
Yeah, the problem is that you're trying to frame this as though like this situation is going to be relevant to what's happening in Israel and Gaza, and it's not.
Well, no, the reason I was saying that, the reason I was giving this
So
equivalent,
they're
because
not
sometimes
they're not
the
comparable.
reason why I say is that sometimes things happen that are actually tragic, but there isn't really mean there's wrongdoing there. That's the reason I'm saying. It depends on your.
But there is
Depends
wrongdoing
on the
there.
situations. I mean, okay, yes, you believe that it was wrong what he did. I would say that unfortunately, it was tragic and horrible, and he's obviously fucked up because of it. I believe that what was he to do? Let them unalive him? Should he have let them unalive him because they were trying?
I don't know why.
It's a simple
Okay,
question.
there's two
Tommy.
things here. I don't know why. I don't know why. If someone's shooting at you through the jungle and you don't know who it is, sure. I don't know what happened in that scenario, but that's not what's happening in Gaza.
Yeah.
They're dropping bombs on apartment complexes and tent cities.
Okay, and again, I don't agree with that, but you're actually making the argument that you believe Israel is intentionally targeting civilians. I would disagree with that.
They
fundamentally.
are.
They're not targeting. They're targeting Hamas.
Yes.
That's
No, they are. They are blowing up hospitals.
you don't understand. I'm with you guys.
Do you
They're
know
in tent
the Nazis
cities.
were not the Nazis weren't targeting Jewish people, they were targeting criminals.
Sorry. So then,
They were all criminals as determined by the Nazis.
okay. Do you? I guess I'm just confused here. Like, then you guys are basically.
Wait. The Nazis, address that. The Nazis weren't targeting Jewish people, they were targeting criminals. Does that logic make sense?
No, I disagree with that.
No, it doesn't.
No, I disagree with that statement. Can you explain to me what you
Right.
got there? I'm sorry.
That's the same logic.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if I
You're
really
using.
see it. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm with you guys to an extent, but it's just confusing. It's like,
He's not confused.
what do we say?
Yeah, you're not confused. You're not confused. You're not confused at all.
Richie, do you know what the Hannibal? Richie, do you know what the Hannibal Directive is?
I do not.
Yeah, that's what I was explaining to you earlier, and that the IDF, they utilize this. They purposely send in soldiers knowing that they're going to unalive them.
Sorry. So can you repeat that again, please? I missed the last part.
Look it up. It's called the Hannibal Directive.
Okay.
IDF sends in soldiers purposely knowing that they are going to unalive them. Not, oh, well, they may not make it, maybe not all the guys. No, they know these soldiers, we are unaliving them.
Okay. So you're saying that the Hannibal Directive is essentially Israel is sending in IDF soldiers so that Hamas does take them out, and it just is a reason for retaliation.
No, I'm saying that, I'm saying that they will utilize their own. They will unalive their own to make us like even the smallest advancement.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I'm sorry, but you can't, like, I'm sorry what happened October 7th, but for you to sit here and ignore everything from the 40s, ignore all the things that the IDF does, the propaganda, the amazing amount of propaganda that they do to their citizens is wild. Like, Richie, wake up.
I'm just confused.
Just because I'm pointing this out does not mean that I'm like, like cheering on Hamas. But if Hamas is keeping Palestinians alive, oh well, deal with it.
Let me ask you this last question. Then I'll get going here. What position do you want me to hold as a Jewish man? And we have these countries that want my people eradicated. What position do you want me to hold?
The right one. I want you to understand that is the government. Yeah. And as a Jewish man, as a former Catholic, I wouldn't be like, yeah, feed the Christians to the lions. Let's go.
Yeah, let's say I do agree with that. But like, what about Iran, they do want Israel obliterated? They call them a cancerous tumor.
Yeah, well, extremism meet extremism, and the IDF, Israeli government, is extremism. Like, you guys are 1 minute you're tearing up Palestinians. Now you turn around, you're like, all right, let's go, Iran.
Wait,
Just admit to it. You're
wait.
aggressors.
There's
You are the aggressors. Full stop.
First of all, I'm not actually in Israel, so we all put
there
okay?
are
So no one really truly actually knows except for the people that are there on the ground. That's the first problem.
there is an October 7th in Gaza every 5 days.
Yeah, no, I don't like what's happening to the Palestinians. I think it's terrible. I do agree with that. I just don't want to see Israel eradicated, which is what most of these countries in the Middle East want. They don't want them to exist.
Well, maybe they should stop being
So what
agitated.
you're saying, I know, right?
Well, come on, what?
Like I don't. If you don't know this, but the polarity of the world is changing. You can't be the biggest asshole on the block anymore without facing consequences. We're gonna face them in the United States. Israel's gonna face them too. That's just a fact. You better hope. And here's the thing, by the way, they have fucked up Middle Eastern relations so badly with this. You better pray to God the United States doesn't have a fall from grace. You better pray to God that chips don't get shut off from Taiwan. You better pray that China keeps their hands off our tech. Because if they catch up to us, if they're able to create systems with their chips and Taiwan's out the picture, we're fucked. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Exactly what they're planning on doing. They're going to blow that plan up. They're going to leave us high and dry. And Israel ain't going to have fucking chips for their air defenses. You fucking want. It's going to be bad.
I mean, okay.
And you guys ran around being assholes the whole time. I will say you guys because you're like defending Israel. But like you're running around being assholes this whole time. You're going to pay the consequences inevitably.
I mean, yeah. Listen,
We are.
fine. I mean, like I understand that the point you're making there, but just like even if we kind of really strayed away because it's like taking Israel out of the equation. I mean, they hate America. Iran can't stand. They can't stand us. So
Well,
I
you know
mean,
why,
they've openly
Why?
called for us to be eradicated as well.
Why, Richie?
Yeah, there's a history of issues that go
Maybe because we're
quite far. But I'm just saying.
we're talking about bombing their country right now.
Yeah, there's no,
That might be why.
The United States is an aggressor.
they are aggressors a lot of the time. Yeah, because obviously, well, I mean, America is expected to stand up and basically fight all this shit off. Everyone expects us to do this. I mean,
Richie,
Okay, go to
as
war.
as a former Catholic, I can criticize the church. I can say yes, there are too many P3DOs, and the church doesn't do anything for decades. Has not done anything about it. In fact, all they've done is take out insurance so that if they get sued for P3DO activity, right, they have this insurance to make a payout. Why don't you do that? Call out the IDF and be like, it has nothing to do with you being Jewish, Richie.
well, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, sure. I mean,
There are plenty
obviously,
of Jewish people on this app who advocate for Palestine, to free Palestine, and to have the IDF, have the Israeli government stop what they're doing. You know who Good Trouble is? He's Jewish. He's standing on the right side of history. Why can't you? Like, grow
I
a
mean,
spine.
I can hold two positions that kind of like contradict each other somewhat. These things aren't mutually exclusive. I do denounce obviously the behavior of the IDF when it comes to like any forms of what is perceived as terrorist attacks or things like that. But I also do. I would hope you would also understand, or at least agree, that you don't believe that Hamas should be attacking Israel. So let's say there was some sort of peace treaty. I don't think Hamas would ever stop because Hamas's agenda is to literally also eradicate Israel. So I just don't know where like where the solution would even lie. So it's like, yeah,
Well, I mean,
Israel stop everything. I mean, we can comfortably say Hamas will attack Israel again.
Did you feel the same way about the PLO?
What about it?
Do you feel that they were like trying to eradicate?
You mean the Palestinian Liberation Organization? Like them?
Yeah.
Oh, what was the question about them? Sorry.
Do you feel the same way about them that you do about Hamas?
No, of course not. Of course not. I mean, the Palestinian Liberate, they aren't Hamas. They're a separate entity.
I know they're not.
Yeah, no, Hamas is its own separate thing. It's a problem. Okay, we saw this problem in Iraq. Like, well, look what happened in Iraq. U.S. soldiers would go into these buildings. Okay, there would be civilians that were just sitting there at a table. The soldier would turn around and the civilian would shoot him in the back. And as a result, a lot of like civilian. This is the problem we're facing over there. Like, we don't know who is who. and the result is obviously bad. But it's like we saw this in Iraq.
How do you supposed to? You think you're gonna know who's who if you're dropping bombs on apartment complexes?
Again,
Can you name another situation, another place? Can you name another place in the world where we would view that as acceptable
nowhere.
outside of the Middle East? I don't see anybody dropping bombs on apartment complexes in Sweden
Well, no, I mean,
or the UK or Dallas.
how can I even give you a hypothetical? Can I explain to you like would you press the trigger on a bomb sent into a commercial building? Let's say it's a residential building. If there's 3 people in there that are going to, let's say, drop bombs, and I don't know how to give you an analogy. It's basically like a moral dilemma. Okay,
because
it's
there
horrible.
is no comparison. There is no comparison.
Well, no, I'm saying it's a moral dilemma. If there is a bad person in a building, let's say 5 or 6 of them, and there's 20 people that are good people or civilians, but those 6 people are going to result in unaliving a whole bunch of people. Would you still bomb the building? I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it.
You can't make another
You can't.
strategy like Richie. You can't have another strategy.
Well, what would be the alternative? That's the problem. I mean, what's the alternative?
There's send people in. The reality is this: war sucks. War sucks, but
Yeah.
you don't get to just blow up apartment complexes because it's easier.
Richie, when we unalived Osama bin Laden, did we just blow up the whole place or did we actually go in?
No, we went in for Osama bin Laden. Obviously, that was a different scenario though.
How? No. How?
We wanted to actually legitimately confirm that he was obviously taken out, so we had to go in with the SEAL team. We had to confirm and make sure with 100% certainty.
They confirm. He used to live in the U.S. and the U.K. Like they could have confirmed. They could have incinerated, get teeth. They could have done that. They didn't. They went in.
Hold up, let me get the cigarette. I'll be right back.
Now I know you're not caring about Hamas while you
I think we'll just call it
fucking
there.
on a cancer stick, weirdo.
I think we'll just call it there. To be honest with you.